The vacuum erection device or penis pump has been in existence for 40 plus years, and men have been successfully building erections using their device over that period of time. That's not to say that every treatment for erectile dysfunction works for every man all the time. But I do believe that if you set yourself up with a vacuum erection device and you get some of the basic coaching points about how to get started and then how to apply the tension ring once you're able to build those erections successfully, you increase your odds of being successful with the vacuum therapy system. So we want to do that in this short video, how to get started. We're going to use some models, not live, but just some models to teach you how to place the device at the base of the penis, how to apply the lubricant, and all of those details when you're getting started. And then from there, we'll break to once you've built the erection, how to transfer the tension ring from the cylinder onto the base of the penis, adjust it to hold that erection. So here's my disclaimer. We're putting this up here just so we can meet YouTube standards and do this in the right way. But we feel like this is the best way to teach you how to use the device without somebody stepping in, being a live model. All right, you're ready to get started with your vacuum therapy system. And I would encourage you, with every system we have, the Esteem, the Positive systems, all of them come with a user's guide. And most of the questions, if not 99% of the questions that men have about their vacuum therapy system, those questions are answered in the user guide. So become familiar with this. Now, once you get started with your system, you want to make sure that it works properly, that you're getting a good vacuum seal. And the best way to do that is to start with the pump itself. And I have here an Esteem manual pump. And you can see I'm just going to, in the palm of my hand, I'm going to apply this just like that. I've got a good seal. You know the seal is working from the pump itself. Then I want to apply the pump to the cylinder and make sure around this point I've got a good vacuum seal. And again, the best way to test that is to get to the end of the cylinder, just aggressively pump it into the palm of the hand. And you can see there that I've got a good vacuum seal, not only with the pump, but through the cylinder. So I'm ready to get started. Now, if I'm starting with my penis in this flaccid state, there are a couple of coaching tips I want to offer for you here. First of all, you want to make sure, I'm going to do this before I get any lubrication on here. One of the challenges that men often face is that scrotal tissue, just right up in here, gets drawn into the cylinder. And that's painful, uncomfortable at best, but it's something we want to avoid. So the one way to do that is if you've got the cylinder here, and I'm going to go with my handle upright, I want to make sure that I apply the cylinder as close to the base of the penis as I can. And you can see that gap here. I want to make sure that no skin in this gap is getting into the cylinder. So the best way to do that is to come at an angle and then come up in this position when I get started. But let me back up, because before I do anything else with this system, I check to make sure that it's working properly. I want to make sure that I'm using good, ample lubrication. So when I'm started with this, again, I've declared that this is the bottom of the cylinder. My Esteem lettering is at top. I want the handle at the top. That's just a personal preference, but make sure when you get this lubrication in here that you're getting deep inside the cylinder, all around the perimeter here on the inside, around here. So I've got a good seal, but I'm well lubricated on the cylinder itself. We don't want any friction. We can avoid that, and this water-based lubricant will help keep that from happening. But in addition to that, I want to make sure that I'm lubricating the entire penis. So not just the head of the penis, but also just the entire base all the way down. So I've got a well-lubricated penis. I've got a well-lubricated cylinder, and I'm ready to get started. So if we go back, and again, this is the top for me on this particular demonstration. And then I just want to apply the cylinder to the base of the penis right here, create that good vacuum seal. And once I'm in that place, then I can begin to apply just nice and easy squeezes on the pump. And that's drawing this tissue from the penis toward the pump itself. Now, the one thing I would encourage you to recognize is that the vacuum draw here is not just drawing from this point straight ahead. It's a symmetrical draw. So I'm sort of drawing tissue all the way here in the opening of the cylinder. So it's going to expand equally, up, down, side to side. So a lot of men who have trouble when they get started begin pumping too aggressively. And what happens is the head of the penis gets drawn out here, and it just sort of dams up the process. They can't get past that. So one of the reasons I always encourage men when they're starting with this device is just take your time. So nice and easy squeeze, relax, hold the vacuum seal, let some blood flow into the penis, squeeze again, relax, keep the vacuum seal, and just keep doing that. And if you reach a place where you are uncomfortable, you maybe got too aggressive, then use the green button here on this particular device, and that will back off some of the vacuum draw, and that will allow the erection to just sort of subside a little bit, and then maintain that vacuum seal and come back, nice and easy squeeze, and keep drawing the head of the penis toward the pump. And that will help ensure that you are successfully building erections. Do not rush the process. That's the most important thing. Good water-based lubricant, use the user's manual. If you're finding that scrotal tissue is being drawn into the cylinder, no matter how you position it here, if you find that that's still happening, these inserts are a useful tool perhaps to help keep that from happening. So you can just see that I've reduced the amount of open space, and that might help keep that scrotal tissue from being drawn into the cylinder. So that's getting started. Now let's say that you have been successfully building erections. You're getting erections to the point that when you apply the vacuum, they reach on the inside here and they're lifting off the base of the cylinder. That's when you know you have an erection suitable for intercourse. But when you do that, you break the vacuum seal, you pull the cylinder and the device away, and you're finding that you're losing that erection. That's not uncommon. So we want to hold this blood in, and we do that with these tension rings that come with the system. So again, as you're doing this, you're applying these tension rings. Remember, you can't apply a tension ring to a flaccid penis and then hope to build an erection, because the tension ring is keeping the blood from flowing into the penis. So we've got to find a way to get this tension ring onto the base of an erect penis before building the erection. And the way to do that is to preload the tension ring onto the cylinder. So I'm going to do that here. And again, it comes back to good lubrication. So I want to make sure that I'm lubricated here on the cylinder on the outside, so that when it comes time to transfer this tension ring onto the base of the penis, I can do that with minimal friction. So I'm going to load this on here manually, this tension ring onto the cylinder. I do want to note this about these tension rings. You can see that I declared earlier the esteem is the top of my cylinder. That means the bottom is the opposite of that. On the bottom here, I put the tension ring so that this urethral notch is here on the bottom. You can see how that fits anatomically with the penis. I want this on the bottom, and then these two little tabs here, these really press down on those dorsal veins on the penis to keep the venous leak from occurring and that blood being drawn back out of the penis, thereby losing the erection. So I'm preloaded here. This is ready. This is well lubricated. And let's say then I have built the erection, and I've reached this place here where before I break the seal and pull the vacuum away from the body, I want to transfer this onto the base of the penis. This is a tricky thing to do here in this position, but you can see here I would just want to transfer this onto the base of the penis. Then I can safely pull the cylinder and the pump away. And now I have the tension ring onto the base of the penis. I can adjust that a little deeper if I need to do that, and that will hold that blood in the erect penis. And just remember, never wear these tension rings longer than 30 minutes. Always use a water-based lubricant when you're using the tension rings that protects the rings, protects the cylinder. And when you do this, make sure you're well lubricated on the penis before you remove the tension ring, thereby just avoiding some of the bruising that might occur if you're too aggressive with that. Now, if you have questions about how to get started, how to transfer the tension ring onto the base of the penis, or any other questions about a vacuum therapy system, your vacuum erection device, your penis pump, write us at education@timmedical.com. We'll do everything we can to help. And the one thing I'll say here at the end of the video is, if you decide to get a vacuum therapy system and you go to the timmedical.com website and you put in YouTube 15 in the coupon code, you will save 15% off anything you order. So I encourage you to do that.